Here tonight. Just 4 years ago, I was sitting where you're sitting, and I was listening to the stories, and my next boy didn't make it through that night either. I don't expect it'll make it through tonight. The Lord told me when I was 17 that I would adopt. It was a prophecy that I gladly accepted and looked forward to. But I never would have thought that 15 years later, the Lord would ask me to adopt a single mom. Excuse me, I can't see my notes. There are Christian recipes that I assume the Lord was going to follow. You're supposed to go to college, get married, have a career, pregnancies, and then adopt. Surely the Lord knew this. I said yes to his plan and assumed that he knew what he was doing. I had been a pediatric trauma nurse for many years, so I expected that my skills and experience, thank you, would support an adoption of a child with special needs. I didn't expect the Lord would match me with a son with Down syndrome. My Bethany social workers prayed with me and have been my constant support. God knew exactly what I needed. Like most adoption families, I was overwhelmed with the cost of international adoption. I worked extra shifts, I cut the budget, I clipped coupons. I did every fundraiser known to man. And I never would have guessed that friends and strangers from all over the world would hear our story and give of their time and financial support. Then just days before our very unexpected travel invite to China, we received a Bethany Correction Grant for the exact amount of money that we needed to travel. God knew exactly what I needed. I prepared to receive my child as the worst case scenario. I knew of the orphanage horror stories and about institutional delays for healthy children. Down syndrome was a culturally shamed disease, and I feared about the care my child was receiving. But the Lord had protected my little boy. He had a loving foster mother that loved Jesus. She had co-slept with him, attended to his needs, and most importantly, prayed over him. I know that the emotional health of my child is a direct result of her faithfulness. I never would have guessed that she and I would meet. Another banner of our amazing God carried our child together for an hour. But God knew exactly what he had planned. My son Isaac would come home, and his tiny, frail body would grow strong with a small little heart surgery, a lot of good nutrition, and lots of snuggles. Despite being nearly 2 years old when he came home, he would learn to sit with me, have his first steps, and get 14 new teeth in 12 months. That's a lot of Tylenol. In the midst of such joyous growth, Isaac also spent time in the hospital, struggling for air and desperate for each breath that he could muster. It would drive me to my knees, begging for his health. The Lord would draw me close and lovingly whisper to my heart that Isaac was his son too, and that I could do this because he was doing it for me. And we did do it. And Isaac is a pretty spunky boy and will tell his doctors exactly what to do now. Above all, I never would have guessed how a soul can overflow with so much love for another woman's son. This perfect little boy with an extra chromosome of love, born to another woman so very far away, is a child of my heart, and God knew this as well. As our first anniversary drew close, we received a phone call from Bethany Global. The authorities in China had been watching our file closely. They didn't know why anyone would want to adopt a child with Down syndrome. But for some unexplainable reason, my son was thriving. So if we could find homes, there were 14 more children that they were willing to release for adoption with Down syndrome. Bethany was shocked and wanted to know, was my little family willing to help? The Bamboo Project was born as Bethany's focused advocacy effort to find families for children with Down syndrome in China, claiming Job 14:7 that there is hope for bamboo if it be cut down, and it will sprout again, and that its shoots will never cease. 2 years later, 13 of those original 14 bamboo children are now in amazing homes with incredible families. In fact, by Bethany declaring so much value over these children, Down syndrome is now considered an adoptable condition in most provinces in China. 4 years ago, as I sit where you sit, I never would have guessed that I would stand before you now sharing this story. That a single mom who said yes to God for a child who was stamped broken and unwanted, a child who has spent most of his days institutionalized solely because of an extra chromosome. He's now healthy and a thriving preschooler, full of so much incredible joy and a bit of troublemaking, if I'm being honest. He knows his letters and colors and shapes. He loves music, and he would watch Frozen every single day. He's getting to do that tonight with Grandma, actually. Most important of all, he loves to worship Jesus. He lifts his chubby little arms to heaven and sings, I love God. The Lord is allowed to see, well, Lord, my family to see the fruit of obedience from a simple yes to what seemed like an impossible task. Now together we get to advocate for children just like my Isaac and all of their chromosomal awesomeness. I wonder who in this audience tonight will give us a yes. I'm sure God knows.